Cool guys, it has been a while. I'm really sorry I haven't been posting more reviews and videos. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. A whole bunch of my camera equipment and stuff like that was stolen as well, which has caused a bit of a spanner in the works in the grand scheme of things. However, I watched Star Wars Rise of Skywalker today and I really wanted to talk about it and share my thoughts and opinions on the film. Cool, so I'll give you guys a proper update on where things are going for next year and where I'm at the moment, but I'm not going to do that in this video. So I'm going to be talking about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and just my thoughts and opinions on the movie without going into any spoilers. So obviously this film had a lot to do. It had to close off pretty much a 9-movie story arc, beginning in The Phantom Menace and now ending in The Rise of Skywalker, and beforehand ending in The Last Jedi, because we obviously didn't know what was going to happen in this movie. And quite frankly, this movie had a lot to do, and that is very apparent in the movie, because it does feel like this movie goes on for quite some time. But not only that, I also feel like this movie tries extremely hard to make fans happy, and there's a lot of fan service in this film. There's a lot of retconning as well. I feel like they're trying to distance themselves from certain elements of The Last Jedi, which becomes very apparent while you're watching this movie, The Rise of Skywalker. And I personally didn't enjoy that much, because although I didn't love all of The Last Jedi, I understood what Rian Johnson was trying to do. I didn't like some of the decisions he made, but at the same time, you got to stick with those decisions that he made, because he was the director of that film. He was hired to do that job and make that movie. And I just feel at times that this film, The Rise of Skywalker, is trying really hard to kind of be more of a sequel to The Force Awakens than The Last Jedi. And that is also, I think, because J.J. Abrams had a very clear vision for The Force Awakens that maybe Rian Johnson didn't execute in that same fashion in The Last Jedi. And then when J.J. Abrams was hired to do The Rise of Skywalker, he kind of wanted to continue the vision he had for The Force Awakens, and that's personally how I felt. I felt like this movie was really trying to sort of pick up where things kind of had left off with Force Awakens, and obviously was trying to include stuff that happened in The Last Jedi, but for me it did just feel like J.J. Abrams was trying to just continue the vision he had for this trilogy, more so than what Rian Johnson had set up. As I was saying previously, there's a lot of fan service in this movie. Some fans are going to love it, I think. Some fans are not going to love it as much, and I was a bit mixed. There were parts of it where I really was enjoying it, and then there were also parts where I was like, okay, that felt a little bit forced and it didn't necessarily need to be included. That was just my personal opinion on that, so that was a bit frustrating for me as a fan as well of Star Wars. Of course, I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite franchises that probably will ever exist. So yeah, I just felt like there's a lot of fan service here and a bit too much at times as well. I really did love seeing Finn, Poe and Rey together more in this movie. That I'm not going to go into that and the details of that, but they definitely get more screen time together. And in The Last Jedi, they're kind of all split up throughout the film, and in this movie they're together for a large chunk of it, which is really nice, and they just have some great chemistry and great moments together. So I really enjoyed seeing that aspect in this movie. There are a few new characters introduced in this film, which are also really cool. Some of them I liked obviously more than others. Some of them I thought they didn't even need to be included, but that's just my personal opinion. This movie was a mixed bag for me, and I do need to see it a couple more times before I kind of make up my mind on the film. I don't think it's going to be for everyone, including Star Wars fans. I think some Star Wars fans are not going to like the direction that this film goes. As a Star Wars fan myself, I'm very mixed at the moment. There are aspects of the film I really did enjoy. There are aspects of it that I'm glad to see sort of pay off from previous films, but I'm also just a little frustrated with certain decisions that were made in the movie. And there were certain elements of this movie that did feel really choppy, really messy. It did feel like they were trying to cram a whole lot of story into a very small space of time. And again, that's why I think they are trying to sort of course correct from the previous two films, which you can't really do in the last film of a trilogy or even a saga at this point. So I do feel like they did try to rush things a bit in this movie. They try to like jam-pack a whole bunch of story into the movie, and again, I'm going to say it again, there are parts of that I loved. Really cool aspects to the movie that were like exciting and I felt a bit refreshing to this trilogy. But then there were also parts where I felt like this is way too much for this film. There's way too much story going on here. Why did they include this? Why did they include that? Why is this happening like this? You know, did they have to do that necessarily? And there's a whole bunch of things like that where I just didn't enjoy it. This movie tried to do a whole lot. Really works in some places, really doesn't in other places, and overall it was just a, right now, sort of mediocre experience, which is kind of sucky because I was really hoping to love this film. Again, I'm going to say it, there are definitely moments I loved in this movie. There's some really cool plot points in this movie, some really cool character development in this movie, but then there are also just times where I'm like, okay, wow, what's happening here? Why did they choose to do this? Why is this here? Why did that happen? So I don't know, it's a mixed bag for me at the moment. I do want to watch it a couple more times to sort of make up my mind about this movie, but right now I was just sort of like, it was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. Definitely some issues with the film, but I did enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know, I think that's all I'm going to say. Look, I have grown to love The Last Jedi a lot more than I did when I first watched it. And even Force Awakens as well, even that it is very similar to A New Hope, I do appreciate it for what it was. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the first two of this trilogy. Right now, the third one was enjoyable. I just don't know where I would rank it overall with this trilogy. But I'm going to watch it a couple more times, and maybe I'll come back and do a spoiler review for this as well. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you have seen The Rise of Skywalker, please let me know your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinion on the film. If you have not yet seen it, what did you think of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi? Let me know what you thought of those movies in the comments down below. And are you excited for The Rise of Skywalker? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope more videos will be on their way. I am on leave from work, and yeah, I've got a pretty good setup here at the moment. Yeah, I know the background's a bit messy, but that's fine. We can fix that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Cool. May the Force be with you. Cheers. Go watch Rise of Skywalker. And if you're not watching that, watch The Mandalorian, because that's fucking insane. Okay, bye. That's me. I'm done. Cheers.